Welcome to Speak. I'm Joy Taylor here with two Hall of Famers, the truth, Paul Pierce, and the playmaker, Michael Irvin. To our neighbors in the Los Angeles area, hopefully you and your family and friends are safe. And make sure that you guys take care of yourselves and prioritize your safety, please. Yes, we're praying for you. My Steelers finished with another winning season under Mike Tomlin and made the playoffs for the second straight year, but they're the biggest underdogs of Wild Card Weekend as 9.5-point underdogs against the Ravens. It's bad enough that even Ben Roethlisberger picked the Ravens to win on his podcast. So, Michael, should Mike Tomlin be on the hot seat with a loss on Saturday?
And there are two things we're discussing here, because this is a tough one. It's a tough one for him. Because, you know, the NFL, and we always talk about it, and we come here on this desk and talk about it every day, it really is about winning championships. That's what it's about. And Mike Tomlin has had some incredible seasons, dragging the squads that he's been given across the finish line to a winning season. But it's not just about having winning seasons and not having losing seasons. It is about ultimately winning Super Bowls or trying to win Super Bowls and doing the little things to try to get to a Super Bowl. So, yeah, in theory, when you look at it in its absolute form, because it's about winning championships, and Mike hadn't done that in a while, you say, yeah, Mike should be on the hot seat. But we got an eye gate to see things, and we know how they played out and why they played out the way they played. And Mike has done, I thought, a great job of, like I said, dragging some of these guys across the finish line to get to a winning record and getting a possibility and a chance of going into the playoffs and doing something. But he didn't come up with the championship. So, yes, they'll put him on the hot seat. But
he should be on the hot seat.
Well, I don't say he should be on the hot seat, because I'm looking at what you have and the results of what you did. And if, you know, we got two mics on the hot seat, y'all want to switch them seats, I'm quite all right with that. We could do a flip-flop, Mike over here, that might come over there, that might go over there.
Go back to Pittsburgh. McCarthy,
right,
Pittsburgh,
McCarthy go back to Pittsburgh, Mike, you come on out there in Dallas, and I guarantee you that'd be great for me. But for understanding what we are and what the NFL is, you got to get to a Super Bowl sooner or later.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, Mike. You got to win the Super Bowl, but when you haven't been given the pieces to where you get the expectations to make a Super Bowl, I mean, for goodness sake, what were the expectations for the Steelers coming into the season? Certainly wasn't not to compete for the division title with the Baltimore Ravens, which they were able to do up until the last game of the season.
Right.
And, you know, you bring in a quarterback who was pretty much everybody was calling washed up in Denver, comes over there and, you know, helps put you in the playoffs. So, you know, for me, Mike Tomlin.
You used that material to get here.
You used everything you could, you know, I don't know. You used everything. You squeezed you had the orange was this big, but you filled up this cup. You somehow filled up the cup. You squeezed all that little orange juice out, and you filled it up, but somehow you continuously do this, which makes me believe if you get somewhat of a team around Mike Tomlin, you're going to win a Super Bowl. But I just haven't seen that since Ben Roethlisberger was there. So, you know, I think a guy like him needs to be able to right his own ship. I mean, he's been to the playoffs every single year. He's been the coach there. No other coach has ever been able to do that. I would not see this coming if they were to let Mike Tomlin go, but I think he truly deserves, you know, just an opportunity to win. Like, listen, so I played in Boston for 10 years before we even got a team. I felt like I was a championship player. Like, get me some players. We got the first year, we got the players, we won the championship. Sometimes that's all it takes. Surround him with championship players, and you'll win with him.
And that's so good, Paul, because the reality, we'll talk about any and every other coach, and they'll come and go, and we'll say, well, he never got his quarterback. We talked about with Antonio Pierce. He never got his quarterback. And look how short of a time they have given him without having a quarterback, because you can't win. This dude has won continuously. Now, I would say make his seat fire hot. If you tell me that every quarterback you guys have drafted since Ben Roethlisberger was his decision.
Right.
Was solely his decision. If you tell me, well, we took the quarterback he wanted, then I would say fire hot his seat. Because, but I know you're not going to tell me that you made a consensus decision and that you gave this to him and he's getting you an opportunity by getting you in the playoffs. Then you know, it's hard for me to say that you should be getting rid of that guy. As a matter of fact, I'm saying send him my way.
Send him to the Cowboys.
And then one more thing before you go, Joy. If you decide to let go of Mike Tomlin, there's so much that comes with letting them go. You tearing down a culture that y'all built for so many years, an identity that's stuck with the Pittsburgh Steelers for so many years. Now, are you ready for that change? Because this is a winning culture under Mike Tomlin.
And what they do, one last thing, Joy, what they do is we discount how well Mike keeps things in-house.
Right.
What went on with AB, didn't know anything about where AB would go until he left Mike Tomlin. And I'm telling you, if there are certain people on that team right now that Paul was talking about, that you take that culture away, the Pickens and all of that, you're going to have even more problems than you think you got problems on the football field. I guarantee it.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin should not be on the hot seat, but it is time to have a real conversation about what the Steelers' identity is and really invest in the offensive side of the ball. Because this has been the story with them for too long. They win with defense. They have an unbelievable defense. They have a high-powered defense.
Joy, that's good.
They have playmakers, some of the best defensive players in the league. So we're going to play defense and we're going to run the ball. Great. But the rest of the league is also playing defense and running the ball, and
with a quarterback.
Have a quarterback.
Right.
And you can't win in this league without a quarterback, and you can't be at the top of the league at a sustained level without a quarterback. Yes, you can have a winning season. It is remarkable that Mike Tomlin, in 18 seasons as a head coach, has never had a losing season.
Wow.
So much changes year to year. Your quarterback gets injured. Your quarterback retires. You draft a rookie quarterback. You have a quarterback that's a rookie quarterback that's injured. You have a rookie quarterback that's struggling. There's so many different variations of things that can happen, even outside the quarterback position, that could cause you to have a losing season. It's never happened. Wow. But when you're talking about expectations for the Steelers, if we were honest this year, most people expected the Steelers to be last in the division.
Absolutely.
Because we are just brushing over the fact that the Browns had major expectations this year with Deshaun Watson, and that didn't happen. Cincinnati had major expectations this year. That didn't happen.
Good points again.
So we're talking about distance traveled. Yes, they overachieved. But the Steelers are one of the most winning organizations in the NFL. They have 6 Lombardis. That is the same as the New England Patriots. And when we look at where the New England Patriots are right now, and we look at where the Pittsburgh Steelers are right now, well, you'd rather be the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, of course, because they are in the playoffs and New England just fired their head coach, which leads to the conversation about if a Steelers head coach can really be in the hot seat, because they've only had 3 head coaches in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 1, 2, 3. They are not a team that fires head coaches. They are going to ride the waves with you. They're going to keep the culture. They're going to keep the identity. However, what's the standard then? Because if the standard is just making the playoffs, well, we do that.
No.
Right.
If the standard is winning the division, well, we do that. If the standard is drafting and developing players, being entertaining,
They do that.
being in the conversation, check. At what point does the pressure tick up to join the rest of the NFL and be able to compete with a Cincinnati, with a Baltimore Ravens? Yeah, winning during the regular season is cool. You should be able to beat divisional opponents during the regular season. But what we're worried about is the postseason. Now, look, this game hasn't been played. Perhaps they do beat the Baltimore Ravens. But assuming that they don't, and certainly the odds makers and the former Hall of Fame quarterback believes that they're not, and the 4-game losing streak going into the postseason would tend to tell everybody they're not going to beat the Ravens. When you have that conversation at the end of the year, what is the direction moving forward? Because this has always been my concern with the Steelers. I know they're going to be well coached. I know there's going to be a good culture. I know they're going to be prepared. I know they're going to beat teams they weren't expected to beat. I know they're going to have a winning season. At this point, it's scientific that they're going to have a winning season. But are they going to be able to compete with the best in the league when you overlook or do not put an emphasis on having a modern offense that does more than just kick some field goals and run the ball?
Okay, and then I ask this question, because we have broken this down pretty great. And we'll be talking about Mike McCarthy here in a second, and we'll talk about what's the difference here. And I said the key, you guys remember, I said key, the difference is that Mike McCarthy has his quarterback. When do we on this desk start giving the Rooneys the Rooney for not delivering the quarterback like we would have done to Jerry Jones for not giving Mike McCarthy whatever he did. That's all I'm saying. I'm okay. I'll put Mike on the hot seat. But I need them Rooney's butt right there next to it.
No. I agree with you.
I need them Rooney's butt right next to it.
He has done more with less than any coach in the league, and it's not a question. If you have never had a losing season as a head coach, you've done more with less because there's no way you can be that consistent year in and year out of being a great team. So But
let's not get off that question I asked because I understand about Tomlin. I'm asking about Jerry and the Roonies.
I agree.
Why ain't nobody saying anything to Mike about how right he is right here? That's all I want to say.
Right,
we don't hear nothing about Rooney. We hear everything about Jerry, and then when I say it ain't on Jerry, stop protecting Jerry. Exactly the same.
I hear you.
No, it's not the same.
They do
This
need
is the
to get
number
one got 5 and one got 6.
But this is America's team is in Dallas.
Jerry's in charge.
Jerry's in charge.
From my Steelers to Michael's Cowboys, who denied the Bears. Denied. They do not have permission to interview Mike McCarthy. McCarthy still has no deal past the season, but he is under contract with the Cowboys until the 14th. They have an exclusive negotiating window until the 14th, but they said the Bears are not allowed to sniff over here. What? So is this a sign, Michael, that they are going to be keeping McCarthy?
This is, I think, a great sign in Mike's favor, yes. And it's so funny because we were talking in the meetings, right? When we get these questions, our own individual producers call us. And it's funny when Paul said the same thing that I said exactly when he heard it, because we know as athletes that a lot of things are said out here is always negotiations. And Jerry's in the midst of a negotiation. Last week he said, oh, yeah, anybody want to talk to him, you can talk to him because, I don't want anybody here if you don't want to be here. So what Jerry was hoping that nobody would call. And then when Mike and his representatives come back in there, they would have said, well, nobody called. I mean, we put it out there. But somebody has called. And I've had this before with Jerry. I won Receiver of the Year one year over Jerry Rice, the first time beating Jerry Rice. And I went in, I was on my new contract. I said, we went back and forth. I said, Jerry, I want to be the highest paid. I'm the number one receiver, I want to be the highest paid. Yeah, Michael, you're number one receiver, but Jerry Rice got some Super Bowls. You ain't got no Super Bowls because I hadn't won a Super Bowl yet. So then we got so far to it that he was ready. They had me traded to Cincinnati. I said, okay, boss, I'll go to Cincinnati. I said, no, I'm going to win the championship wherever I go. And then Jerry flipped the whole script and said, wait a minute. I was just joking, buddy. Let me tell you something. And he gave me this long analogy. Michael, I see you in the Cowboys like Magic in the Lakers. What would Magic Johnson be without the Lakers? What would the Lakers be without Magic Johnson? Let me tell you, if a bomb hits Valley Range and blow everything up today, everybody gone. Me and you, baby, we gonna still be here. So we might as well work this deal out. And we did. We worked the deal out. Jerry is working both sides. I don't know. He really did have something going with Cincinnati as he was working on the deal with me. And he really had something going on with Mike as he's looking out here to see what's out there for the Cowboys. He wants to keep it all under his thumb, and he got called on it, and he has to fess up. And he said, no, I was just joking. You can joke. You can joke. You can joke, and it's not considered lying in negotiations. It's just a means to get to an end, kind of like being in one of them interrogation rooms with the police.
So,
I was just kidding.
So, me and my girl been together for 6 years. Living together, but now we broke up, but we still living together.
Right.
But now you tripping if I go to the club. Does that sound right? We live together, but we not together.
Right.
But now you mad if I go out. That's what McCarthy's doing right now.
That's kind of what Jerry's doing.
That's what Jerry's doing to McCarthy. Like we live together, but we broke up for now.
You're not mine.
But now,
I want you to behave.
But you don't want me to go out?
Yeah.
Come on now, Jerry. Come on. That means we must be talking about getting back together.
That's why I see it, Paul. You're right. You're right.
You must be. Hey, tell me something. Tell me something I can't refuse. Then tell me something that's gonna want me to stay in the house. What? You gonna clean up a little better or something? What you gonna do?
Clean the house.
What you gonna do?
So you think it's negotiating also?
Yeah, this is negotiating also. Because you can't tell me if I got something on the table to wait, like, say, hold up. Now, if something happens to where he don't acquire a deal with Dallas and this deal comes off the table, that's sabotaging. I mean, come on.
I mean, that's not good business.
That's not good business. So it'll really look bad for Dallas if they don't give him a deal.
Yeah, I think this is a good chance that he's back with the Cowboys. And you know, if the Cowboys were legitimately sniffing other places as well, because there has been some stories about Vrabel and, you know, other things, if they felt really good about their other options, then they probably would let Mike McCarthy.
Right. But remember, those other options are checking other options. So everybody out here optioning out.
Yeah, everybody is searching through their options.
Searching options, right.
Everyone's swiping right here. So
I don't know anything about the swipes. I have yet to go on any of that.
Swipe right. Somebody has used these apps.
I did one for one.
Right, as you keep going? Left is no. I don't know. Whatever. They're swiping whatever way brings you another person. So that's what they're doing. And, you know, unless they're trying to screw him over, which I don't think that they are. Like that's not good business. Your top players like him. There's not that many super high level former head coaches that are available on the market right now that can come in and have to reestablish a culture and rebuild the roster and be familiar with the building. And Michael, you know this better than everybody, even though this isn't necessarily your favorite story. There are certain places, I would say every building has its own little dynamics and nuances that you only know when you actually work there. But there's certain places, like the Steelers, like the Celtics, like the Lakers, like the Cowboys, where you have to familiarize yourself with the building.
With the whole system.
There is an entire way of things that are done a certain way. There's a little sensitivity over here. There's a little story behind this person over here. There's a little thing. There's these ways you have to navigate. There's a game within the game in certain buildings that is a whole other type of job. From just
everybody got spies in the building. Let me tell you right now, all the media, everybody has spies in the building. Just understand that.
It's like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the media is working with the owners, and owners, they all boys, and they're giving each other little crumbs here and there. Yeah. So, all of it is something.
Game of whispers.
And when you're in a place like that or a place like Pittsburgh, the stakes are even more high.
Yeah. Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.